This is William Hoffman. This is my presentation on the Tokyo Boutique Hotel. This project is proposed to be located in the Shinto-yosu region in Tokyo within Japan on an artificial island system. The islands are undergoing recent development after remaining static for quite a while. A lot of the development going on around the site is evoking futuristic design tones, sustainability items, and stuff of that nature. The site is unique in that it is accessible to citizens in all aspects of life and accessible through many different means to the actual site, including by train, by boat or water taxi, by car, by bicycle, which is a huge means of transportation in Japan, and also on foot. The first step was examining the piece of land proposed to us and just doing some initial site analysis sketching. So I did 3 different sketches of just different aspects of the site. Through those 3 sketches, I combined them into one, trying to find relationships between all these unique items, mainly prevailing winds, sun path, views to and from the site was a big one, along with means of transportation, access around the site. Combining all those, pretty much came up with a pocket area, kind of in the southeast corner that would be best to locate this for a couple of different reasons. And also it maintains what I like to call a direct line of action through the site, in particular a line of action that connects this site up to primary aspects of all the sites around it. So kind of from this I could determine where I want to place the building and kind of the orientation I would like it to have in order to maximize these items that I examined in the site analysis. Moving on, conducted an extensive series of massing studies. I picked the most successful ones here to display. Really, it was just keeping in mind the volume and footprint and trying to arrange different masses in different configurations to try to reinforce the idea I had determined from the site analysis. So really just starting off with basic shapes, rectangles, squares, things of that nature, just kind of arranging them, looking for anything interesting or thought-provoking or something that could reinforce what I found on the site. Really through this, it started to become obvious to me that it was going to be the stacking of several different shapes arranged probably around one central form or another. I went down a different path at first, basically with 3 different shapes, not really connected, proposed to be connected through walkways, but that really more so evoked a network sort of idea, and that really wasn't what I was trying to go with. Initially, I was thinking of kind of a hub concept because the site is unique in that it can be really a joining factor for 5, 6 different walks of life. So I really wanted to evoke something that would create kind of a hub atmosphere around the site. Putting that in mind, I started to loosely sketch over some ideas over here, putting some shapes together and just seeing what I can do to have kind of a hub atmosphere with a central shape flanked by different shapes. Further development, it became obvious that there needed to be a strong core central element that all these other elements could radiate out from axially and radially. First, I tried to keep with the curves I developed through all this, and then did a couple study models, kind of drew over some existing sketches. Again, it became obvious that the curves, although they kind of got the idea across, it really wasn't what I was looking for. Trying to maintain my direct line of action, the curves kind of didn't really jive with that. But moving on, kind of came up with several different concepts for this project through all these different massing studies and site analysis sketches. Sustainable concept be to utilize rainwater retention and recycled aluminum combined with other materials to create a contextual building that fits into the surrounding development and proves to be as adaptable as the Shinto-yosu region itself. Along those lines, to kind of reiterate the design concept, the layout and form will serve to connect the different lifestyles around the site through the creation of a central hub. Combining those two, the systems and materials that comprise the design will formulate a contextual building that reflects current development trends and embodies a central hub to diverse lifestyles and utilizes the surrounding area. So now that I had developed what I was going to proceed with, it's time to refine that. So moving into the plan phase, this went through several iterations as well, but finally landing on 5 different stories mostly single loaded corridors, trying to get sun exposure and balconies to create kind of a diverse atmosphere around the site. But the floor plans remain pretty consistent except what goes on in the center. There's a atrium area that extends all the way to the roof, and there's a skylight at the top. That atrium area serves as the central hub, the core concept of this project. It is around that where the lines of sight are open, views are open, communication is open. It really embodies the hub concept. If you're standing at one floor, you can see what's going on basically around the center of all the other floors. Down here is just a rendering, kind of what I was envisioning with this concept. To create interest any further, make the rest of the floors accessible, there are stairwells that go through the atrium floor to floor, just to connect the different walks of life even within the building, because on the top floors you have more of the shared lounge areas, restaurant areas, bar areas, and saunas and that sort of thing. On the ground floor you have reception, you have pool and gym and that sort of thing. So really the stairwells vertically through the atrium also reinforce the entire hub connectivity concept. Then it just became reinforcing everything I talked about earlier. So here's an exterior rendering. Really, I needed to address kind of these areas that are private, that don't have windows. So on the outside, I figured I would just place solar panels on there. And these solar panels would obviously act to power the building, but they would directly power a set of solar shades that would be included on every set of window panes that were full glazing floor to wall or floor to ceiling, to help control the exact sun exposure. So this building really, once it gets going, you can kind of just adapt to the sun as it goes without any need for outside interference or control. That being said, I was interested in how I was going to develop the full height glazing wall. So we just have a low iron IGU glass, at the top and bottom, connected with recycled aluminum mullion capping. I'll get into the recycled aluminum later, but that is the main textural feature in this building. Along the side, I was developing kind of the building footprint here, and then I'm bringing a artificial water channel onto the site for a better means of just to get the water taxi area into this back corner of the site. And then the water channel will serve as a kind of a focal point for access to the site from the water side. And also in there, bridges go over the channel, then you have playgrounds, tree lines, the water taxi dock, there's bike racks, and then there's a parking lot area on the other side too. Moving along, just got a final study model of kind of what the exterior shell will look like. And then some elevations that show the exterior details, along with a couple sections through the important parts of the center of the building, mainly the atrium on the one side and the hall on the other side. Double loaded or single loaded corridor. Then just another rendering that better shows the aluminum cladding that is going to be the main exterior feature of this building. It'll be all recycled aluminum. There'll be sections of rubber trim, also recycled, located kind of at the halfway point between floors and around the corners of the building. But both of these elements being sustainable in the fact that they are easily recyclable and easily reused. Aluminum in particular, it is endlessly recyclable and does not break down during the recycling process, so it can be used over and over with the same integrity. And to boot, it is the third most abundant element on the planet, and it's also very durable. So it seems to me it was the best exterior feature for this building. Putting it on a white color instead of a dark color allows for the solar panels to stand out more as a design feature and also to collect more of the sunlight away from the facade of the building. That being said, the idea of using two exterior cladding features together in the same system is also a tribute back to the unifying hub design that the overall building is trying to evoke. Then I wanted to develop a particular detail that shows the transition along one of the typical sides of the building from the window glazing to the aluminum panel, and then from the aluminum panel to where we have the recycled rubber bump out design feature, the trim, and then back to the aluminum panel, then back to the glazing. Structure is pretty simple. It is just going to be steel columns supporting steel girders with floor beams in between, and then a lightweight concrete deck on a metal decking, so a composite floor deck. The columns will pretty much be placed around the perimeter, a couple on the interior. There'll be a set of beams blocking off the atrium areas. So it's not really a true cantilever out onto there, even though there aren't really columns out in that area. Then the skylight will serve to bring majority of the light into the atrium and to really give life to that central hub core element. So then I wanted to develop a detail of how the glazing will sit on the recycled aluminum cap on top of a curb, kind of around that atrium area, the skylight at the top. And that is my project. Really, I wanted to evoke kind of a central hub theme that can really tie all different walks around the site together into one building that can be used and enjoyed with, through multiple disciplines by multiple people and have multiple uses. A true mixed-use building for people of all walks of life. Throughout that, the sustainability of the building will ensure that it can do this well into the future, and also plays back into the exterior elements that make the building sustainable, adaptable, reusable, and also tie back into the same hub concept. So I wanted to thank you for a great semester. I was really pushed outside of my comfort zone at times, trying to bend my logical side to a more creative side, and I'm definitely heading in the right direction. But I just wanted to thank you for a great semester.